Good evening. Today is September 7th, 2020, and this is the 15th episode of New Paradigms. I'm your host, Sangari, the Republican nominee for U.S. Congress in the 9th Congressional District of Illinois. My guest today is Devin Jones, the new 18th Ward Republican committeeman and the Deputy Chief of Staff for the Black Conservative Federation, BCF. Devin is a resident of the Ashburn community since he was a small child and is working to build a conservative resistance across Chicago's South Side. Devin is a former youth minister, a Catholic school teacher, and most importantly, a United States Navy veteran. Devin was the first of 5 U.S. Navy sailors to receive federal law enforcement credentials as a Master at Arms, which is the law enforcement's rate or multi-occupational specialty MOS equivalent for the U.S. Navy. Devin is also a not-for-profit leader who, prior to his naval service, founded and also organized an operation to support Catholic churches with evangelization, and the money that was raised from those processes was to send over 100 inner-city youth to the various Catholic schools. He has been a pro-life, pro-school choice advocate, organizing hundreds of Chicago residents to lobby in Springfield and also Washington, D.C. against abortion and as for school choice. As a Deputy Chief of Staff for the Black Conservative Federation, he is working on new initiatives to help the Black conservatives across the nation. BCF was established originally in 2016 to advocate for lasting change in the culture of the Black urban areas in our country. BCF elevates the Black conservative movement with the specific goals of economic stability, educational support, and increased community involvement for those urban areas hammered by inept liberal policies that have plagued our communities for over 50 years. BCF motto is all are welcome because the people we serve have a seat waiting for them at the conservative table. Devin is now organizing a new initiative called the Southside Republicans for BCF. Devin, it's a pleasure to have you here. And as far as today, Labor Day is concerned, thank you for joining us on this holiday and welcome to New Paradigms.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on this platform and allowing me to really talk about what we're doing here on the South Side of Chicago.
Devin, I wanted to initially have you introduce us to the 18th Ward. Tell us how it's organized and what is a layout for the 18th Ward. What are the demographics within that specific ward?
Sure. So the 18th Ward is the southwest side of Chicago. If you know where Mount Greenwood is, it's just north of Mount Greenwood. We're about 77th Street to 87th Street, Cicero to about Damon. We encompass Greater Ashburn, a little part of Auburn Gresham. So Greater Ashburn is Scottsdale, Ashburn, Wrightwood. If I did not mention those communities, these people would come after me. So I have to give, I have to mention them by name. And we're a little bit of the Marquette Park, where Marquette Park is. So we about 50% African American, another 30% Hispanic, and the rest white. When I moved here, it was overwhelmingly Irish Catholics. And so now we are a majority minority community, but the people still have the same jobs. So there are a lot of Cook County sheriffs, state workers, teachers, retired cops, active duty cops, and different things like that. So that's about the makeup of the ward. A lot of homes, homeowners, a quiet bedroom community.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought it up because sometimes people just see the South Side as a separate part of Illinois. South Side is actually the largest part of Chicago. It's the size of the city of Philadelphia. by itself only, and it's has a very historical communities, a lot of historical schools and institutions within it, and unfortunately, as we saw again this weekend, there's a lot of violence that plagues it. I know we had another number of shootings that took place this weekend. Tell me a little bit about how we need to approach this issue, Devin, because it seems like it's endless.
Sure. I think a lot of the issue with the violence that plagues Chicago in general is lost opportunity. We've had one group of people who have kind of ruled over the city for 60 years plus, and all of the economic opportunity has been sucked out of the South Side, sucked out of the West Side. We live with high taxes. We live with a lot of regulation. To be honest, sometimes it's depressing, even in a place, I'm Southwest. So, a lot of people just harp on Inglewood and Roseland and different things like that. But you have to understand that this was created by design. This was created through policy. This is the Chicago way, as they always say. We joke and we laugh about it, but this is the result of the Chicago way. This is a result of Chicago politics. The fact that you have a group of people who create a political issue, and then you have to go through them in order to solve it. You can't park on your street because it costs so much. It costs $100 plus to get a city sticker. It's relentless, the taxes, the regulation, the things you can and can't do, how you have to go to your alderman just to get relief when it's a problem they created. And then you end up beholden to them to vote for them over and over again because they dangle a carrot over you. And so as far as the violence, it's because there's a lack of jobs. There's a lack of ownership of the community because political cronies get to own our neighborhoods. Our neighborhoods are taken from us, gentrified, and then, it looks like we are the creators of this problem when we're just participating in a system that was created for us. And I know that, people, there's a lot of riots and different things like that. People are kind of uprising against the police. Even that issue has become politicized. And as a conservative, I get torn between both sides of it because we know that in 2017, the Department of Justice came out with a report talking about reforms that needed to be made with the Chicago Police Department, which is a trickle down effect from political decisions and policies implemented. And so there are reforms that need to be made, but then we also, shouldn't be committing violent crimes. There shouldn't be these riots. There shouldn't be this uprising. So it's kind of like you're going between two different things, just to kind of suss out what's right.
No, I agree with you. And look, I blame all sides when it comes to political aisle,
Sure.
because frankly, people say that the folks in the South Side continuously keep on voting Democratic. Well, Republicans put somebody up to run. Even in today, where we have a strong president for the Republicans who's running on a law and order platform. You take a
Sure.
look at the Illinois GOP undercards, there's nobody there. And it's
Yeah.
embarrassing sometimes. You walk in and you don't have somebody there. So what do you expect the community to do if you're not going to give them other options? The only way you could
Right.
help them is by giving those options. I'm glad that you're working with the Black Conservative Federation to be able to possibly get those things moving forward.
Sure. And, I appreciate the fact that you are running, as a strong conservative and everything like that. And I know, I wish you were down here in my district. We do have a wonderful person, Philonise White, who is running a pretty good campaign in the first district. But, it's always nice to have as many good conservatives as possible, and I'd love to hear some of your views on how to solve some of these things politically.
Oh, politically, is you got to have people like to reach across the aisle, work together. You can't have people just hitting each other constantly. I mean, look, I'm running right now to become a congressman for the 9th Congressional District of Illinois. The last time I had an endorsement session with the Chicago Sun-Times recently, almost a week plus ago, my opponent just did nothing more than just attack the other side. Well, let's say the other side suddenly wins. Let's say that the POTUS, in this case, the current POTUS wins. If you're going to constantly keep on attacking him, what are you doing for your individuals within your district? Because you're going to come in for
Right.
2 years, take your seat again, and not be able to reach across the aisle to even pass a bill. So this is what happens. You're going to be willing to work with everybody when it comes to supporting your constituents, and that's the reality. That's why I think if politicians just stick to the issues that are plaguing their constituents, I think they'll be able to be in a better place. Look, Felonice is running herself right now against a strongly entrenched incumbent, and I know you've had problems with that incumbent before, even when it comes to corruption, has been a mark that really I don't know if the people of the district know about it, or people of Illinois even care about it. I was
Right.
hoping maybe if you have an opportunity to kind of talk a little bit about what are some of the issues that you've seen with the incumbency currently that is managing the first district.
Sure. Well, in the current occupant of the U.S. House District 1, Bobby Rush, he's a pastor. He's a former Black Panther. That all sounds nice. But then when you look at the policy or lack of policy, I mean, he doesn't really introduce any bills. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm probably happy that he doesn't introduce any bills. But there's a church in the Inglewood community, the community that everybody loves to talk about, but nobody likes to walk through. I walk through that community. I go out and canvass, and he has a church in the community that's abandoned, beloved community Christian church that he used his political connections to raise over $1 million from AT&T and federal, state, and local grants and different things like that to buy this historic church building that used to be a Lutheran church, and it's just urban blight now. What type of depressing message does that send to the people who live across the street, the homeowners whose property values are plummeting because they live next to this church that's locked up, chained up, windows broken out? The picture that you have up there, you see these random bricks that are laying off to the side. It literally is urban blight. So how could you represent a majority Black district and then leave us in this type of just trash? Why are we sending this type of person back to Congress? Why are our politicians on the South Side, on the West Side, in Chicago in general, leaving us? They go wherever they want to go, do whatever they want to do, and then we have to live with the consequences of not only failed policy, but their failed not-for-profit efforts where they enrich themselves, and this is what we're looking at. This is what we see when we look out the window. So
No, it's unfortunate.
it's not good.
Like, it's unfortunate because, like you said, there's a lot of historical property on the south side of
Yes.
Chicago. I mean, there's schools on south side of Chicago that were created by the same individuals at the same date, at the same time, and the schools that are on the north side in the suburbs are historical landmarks. In the south side, the same school is not a historical landmark. Well, of course, if you're not going to market a historical landmark, you're not going to have the money you need to be able to support it. And if you are going to collect money and it comes to the same politician who's been entrenched there for a number of years, guess what? Like you said, the proof is there that the fact that you even have judges that are ordering individuals to have to pay that money back. So, but they're still going to Congress. They're still in Congress. So
Yeah.
$1 million for a congressman is nothing these days, especially if you've been in their place for 20 plus years. But I, again, will say that I also blame our party. I blame the Republican Party for literally not stepping up and providing some conservative names to run, because there are conservative African Americans, Black Americans that want to represent their neighborhoods. They want to live in a good neighborhood. They want to be able to send their kids to good schools. And until we start caring, we shouldn't complain from our end.
Absolutely. I think that's the thing that aggravates me the most. If you ever look at some of my posts on Facebook, it is the, black on black crime here, Inglewood there, Roseland there, the West Side is doing this. But what are we doing as conservatives? There are those of us who are African Americans who love our community, who care for our community. To me, Inglewood is beautiful. Roseland is beautiful. Chatham is beautiful. Pullman, these are beautiful historic communities. My family lives there. We want the same rights, privileges, immunities, if you will, that every American gets to experience, from the First Amendment to the Second Amendment and on down the line. And we don't get it. It's always a dream deferred in our community, and sometimes the people that cause that dream to be deferred look just like us, and that's unfortunate. And the Republican Party really needs to start stepping up and supporting those of us who are on the ground every day. Volunteers, money. It doesn't take that much money. No one's asking for, $1 million to start a failed church like my congressman's doing. Some people are asking for $250 so that they can get postcards. They're asking for, enough money to do a mailing. And so just what many would consider chump change goes so much further for those of us who love our community and walk these streets every day.
Look, every dollar counts. Every dollar
Yes.
counts. It's
Yes.
difficult to get our hands on money. And, God bless the preachers. As a preacher told me when I was in my primary campaign, I pray for you all the time, Colonel Sangari. I say, Chaplain, that's wonderful, but I need money to run a race. And I need money to be able to conduct these operations,
Yes.
Prayers, we always want them, but there's a reality to what we have to do to compete. I mean, even
Right.
at a congressional level, you're never going to have the money that incumbents have or others have.
Sure.
I don't think the community is asking for that. In the past, I've told the Republican Party, the black community, Hispanic community, immigrant communities, I'm not saying come over here and make me rich. They're saying, look, just have our back. Just give us the
Yes.
opportunity to breathe. We need a little bit of
Yes.
support here. We know exactly what we have to do for our communities, internal to our communities. We don't need you to come here and dictate to us what we need to do.
Right.
You haven't really had that experience that we've had. But if you're not going to come and support us, how do you want us to control our streets, our neighborhoods? And how do you want us to be able to be a voice to the young community that is growing up, to provide that leadership for them so they understand, yes, we can have ethical, capable leadership that is going to be focused on a long-term goal of helping their neighbors, helping themselves, helping their community, grow that to helping their neighborhood, and hopefully supporting our nation. Southside of
Yeah.
Chicago being a wonderful economic zone helps the United States in the long run. It helps us on
Yes.
the international scale. As I have said multiple times, I don't think the communities on the south side of Chicago are asking for much. Really, they're just saying, just have our backs, listen to us, support us here and there if need be. I know that President Trump worked his best with the economic zones. Unfortunately, during the looting and rioting, most of those were targeted. And that's something that I think we need to start really looking at to see what is the agenda behind the individuals who are trying to burn these communities, these neighborhoods. If you look at what's happened since the coronavirus shutdown, the major companies in the United States, they have grown 20% when it came to their business and profit margin lines. All the small businesses have been looted and burned. 1 out of 5 restaurants are not going to even come back, regardless of how much money you pump into through the faucet. They're just not going to survive. And is the reality that we have to really untangle this lobby experience that has allowed these entrenched politicians to sit in their place and do nothing more than cipher money really to themselves, and then they die in office,
Yep.
and one of their family members is put in place as a next, hate to say it, dictator, or they are handpicked, subservients that they have put in that place to ensure that the money keeps on flowing into pockets of the businesses that they've had. But I do know that that you have done a lot of work, especially as a deputy chief of staff with the Black Conservative Federation. Tell us a little bit about what are the new initiatives what are they? What is the BCF is trying to do, really specifically within these neighborhoods?
Sure. So we're under the leadership of Deontay Johnson, who's with Black Voices for Trump. He's a native of Illinois. He also does a lot of work in advocating for the Illinois Republican Party to really get into the African American community. So what I will be doing. I was already the Illinois state director, so organizing Black conservatives, finding Black conservatives, networking with them, and then also evangelizing conservatism in the African American community, and just talking about policies and principles of conservatism, not personalities and slogans and things like that, but really talking about solutions for our community. And so I will also be working with the other state directors, especially in battleground states, to see how they can up their ground game, find volunteers to hit the streets, tailor their message. Many of the other state directors are officers and different things in their state parties and their county parties and municipal parties, and so I will just be an asset for them to kind of hone in and strengthen that, whether they're registering voters, getting information, finding poll watchers, finding election judges, etc. Just really helping them to up the ground game and build a conservative renaissance in the Black community.
No, look, I think that's where you got to start. You know, if you keep on waiting for as I've told my community, you keep on waiting for the other guy to come and help you. Yeah, it ain't gonna happen. You got to
Yes,
do it yourself. So
yes,
take your future in
absolutely.
your own hand. Yeah, and even if they try to come to help you, they're not gonna understand how to help you. You know, I know that we have a new organization on the books now in Illinois, try to establish those institutional structures that you need to be able
Sure.
to help the community. Tell us a little bit about the other steps that are being taken by the Black community to be able to really pull those conservative into a structure, into I don't want to use machine politics, but into a process where we can start actually actualizing what the Black residents and these vulnerable communities are asking for.
Sure. I'm okay with machine politics if it's for good. you know.
Yes,
So
yes, if it's for good.
only if it's for good. And the state party. I know I've said some things about the state party, but under the leadership of George Pearson, who is the Will County Republican chairman, and Deontay Johnson and Kevin Suggs, who's a township committee person here in Cook County. I believe he's in Bremen. We've started this Illinois Black Republican Coalition to kind of do some of the similar things that we're doing in BCF, where we are looking for solutions. We're looking for those poll watchers, helping county parties and the committee people target black conservatives, Black Republicans. We'll be looking for candidates for municipal elections, state elections, federal elections, and different things like that. Really, the only word I can use is building a machine of Black Republicans across the state of Illinois. We will be talking about policy. We'll have policy roundtables and different things like that to find solutions. First of all, the Black community in the state of Illinois and across the country, contrary to what anybody else has said, is very diverse. The people on the south side of Chicago are different from the people on the west side of Chicago. The Black people on the south side, or anybody on the south side, is different from west siders, north siders, etc. And so we really need people. I'm on the south side, so I would think about policies for, that would affect us on the south side. And that's really what that coalition is designed to do, is to bring all of us together as Black Republicans, to build and carry the message into the Black community, because it's been so often forgotten about, the Black community. As far as with Republicans, it's almost like we just throw our hands up, and the ground is fertile, and this is the perfect time to do it. This seems to be Everybody talk again. This seems to be the year of the black person, where everybody wants to talk about us. And now there are those of us who are putting our money, our political capital, our human capital where our mouths are, and actually going into the community that we live in, and offering a better choice, a new way. So
Look, I commend you for what you're doing. This should have been done a long time ago, but it's never too late, you
absolutely
know. I mean, because
right.
the country will still continue, and as we always say, we got to strive for a more perfect union in this country. I told a young man asked me, a black man, when we had initially gone down as a collective when the shooting took place at the funeral home almost a couple of months ago.
Hmm.
I made a phone call. I said we need to go down there. We put together a group of representatives. We put a joint statement together, went there and stood there and delivered for the first time, really, from the Republicans, a message. And people ask me, why are you going down to the south side of Chicago and you're represented on the 9th Congressional District? I said, because south side of Chicago also, what happens there does affect me. And if you look at what is happening now across our country, all this is affecting us, all of us, both physically and emotionally, and as far as from domestic policy to foreign policy. Now, with that said, a young man asked me. He goes, "You think you could do a good job of representing the black community?" I said, "Yeah, but you meet all the requirements to run for Congress. Why aren't you running?" I said, at any given time, you'll be a better spokesperson for your community than me. Because guess what? My experience and what I've gone through, as much as I've been in combat, I've seen things that others haven't, I've done functional operations that, were life and death. It still is a different experience than the experience you have. And
Hmm.
it's better for you to be able to be an advocate for your own community through yourself. And, I told them that you have 535 members of Congress, 100 of them sit in the Senate. At any given time, you should have 1,070 people in the queue waiting. He said, what's the queue? I said, queue is where you have them available, and as soon as a race opens, you run them. And you run them as Democrat and Republican. He said, but how would an individual who's a Republican be advocating for me to run as a Democrat? I said, I'm not. I'm saying, but there's some members in your community who may want to run as Democrats. The reality is that there's two parties. These two vehicles are the only two ways you're going to be able to get into Congress, to be able to write the law bills and the laws to be able to change what is happening to your community. And when it comes to the policing issue, because we were there talking policing, police are executing the laws that were put on the books. What do you want the guy to do?
Yes.
Not execute
Yes.
the law that's been written on put on the books. So it makes sense for you to go there, and instead of having individuals from the political aisle tell you, here, go write your name on a road, and or paint it on a street where you have cars with dirty tires drive on it, animals sometimes defecate on that road. That doesn't do anything for you. It's just it makes no sense. And you take your money, you give them to an organization that gives it directly to these individuals who are responsible for why you're where you are today. Run. You have plenty of money in the black community. You have plenty of talent in the black community. You got to know your own capability. You have to know your own power. And if you don't know your own power, nobody can help you. You have to know that you're a very powerful, capable community. And you cannot be from a mindset that I'm not, that I'm a minority. You're not a minority. You're a major, capable force multiplier for our nation. And you always have been. And you need to take that lead, and you need to move forward and be able to put your representatives in. Even as he told me, well, if you win, Colonel, you're okay if I run a couple of black candidates against you, one as a Republican, one as a Democrat. I said, if you don't do it, the other party's going to do it anyway. They're going to go choose somebody to try to knock me out in the primary, and then they're going to have somebody to try to knock me out in the general election. So I might as well have you do it, knowing that it's going to be somebody who's going to be from your community that you had chosen, you've seen, as somebody who's not tied to the machine or to the system, that has the people's support behind them, who's able to stand on his own 2 feet or her own 2 feet, and then be able to grow the community. So, look, we have to change the entire system. And that's one of the reasons I'm actually decided to run myself, because I realize that if I'm not in Congress, my community has absolutely zero voice at the table.
That's really what I try to do as the 18th Ward committee Republican committee person, is just empower people. Not just in the 18th Ward. I go to the 17th, the 16th, the 3rd, the 4th, the 6th. I'm all over the South Side, registering people and just really telling them that the government belongs to us. We don't belong to the government, and we need citizen candidates. We need people who have actually had to deal with everyday life, with high taxes, with overregulation, with whatever issues are going on with the police, which really the people who we should be, whose offices we should be outside of our alderman's office every single day. They're the ones that should have boarded up windows and everything like that, and afraid that I'm not saying we should uprise. I'm just saying, they're the ones that should be afraid, because they're the ones who set the policy and force these police interactions that end badly. They set all these laws up, and then the police have to constantly come and pick and nitpick into certain communities. They don't get a choice over what they enforce and how they enforce it. It's already written in the policy. So we should be at our alderman's office. We should be at our state rep, our state senator offices. That's where we should be. Our county commissioner. Those are the places that we should be standing outside. Those are the places where we should be saying Black Lives Matter, because those are the people who set up the system as it is, that has created what we live through.
No, and look, you need new perspective, right? What may have worked in
Yes.
policing 20, 30 years ago, it may have done the job initially to clean up some of the issues that you were dealing with. But okay, you have to move to the next position. You know yourself, you have something we call the running estimate in the military. And a running estimate is where, as you get garnered more information, you make changes, you make slight changes, to issues that you need to have to be able to, add to what you have already built upon. And unfortunately, Congress is bad at doing it, because, the congressman is spending more time, I hate to say, running for office than they are for caring. And the only time they actually suddenly start caring is when the public rises up, when the polls say, here's an issue that
Right.
may cost you an election. That's not the way it should be. I don't think that our founding fathers ever intended it that way. But unfortunately, the human character, Devin, the human character is what it is. And sometimes the system, we've sent smart people to Congress. We've sent, astronauts. We've sent congressmen. And I can hear the train blowing by. But we've sent multiple individuals to Congress that are very capable. They go in there and come back with nothing. No bills passed, and constantly in arguments between the two parties. And I'm hoping that once I get in, we're going to start really advocating those changes. And I commend you for really pushing your community to really get involved in order to have a voice at the table. Devin, if people want
That
to
train,
learn more
that train
about,
proves to you that I live in Chicago, by the way, because it's it's always busy. So that proves to everybody that I am right here in Chicago. There's never a dull moment or a quiet moment, I should say.
outstanding is okay. But tell us a bit more about if people want to get a hold of you, or they want to ask you, or they want to get involved with the Black Conservative Federation and any other organizations that are now out there. What do they need to do? Where do they go?
Sure. To get a hold of me, 18th Ward Republican Committee person, you can go to www.devinjones.org. My name is spelled Devin. If you go to my website, you'll see a sign up for, we're still looking for Republican election judges all across the South Side, the West Side, and just anywhere. I created an initiative. I want Cook County registered voters to flood the city and become a registered or not registered, but Republican election judges, because all of the committee people across Chicago, all of the Republicans are looking for election judges. I want about 1,000 poll watchers because we have a constitutional amendment for the state constitution. We have several candidates from Philanese White to Mark Frizzalone to Mark Curran, yourself. I'm looking for poll watchers for all of you guys so that we can ensure fair elections. So devinjones.org, you can find that. I'm on Facebook, 18th Ward GOP. That's 18th 18th Ward GOP on Facebook, on Twitter. And so you can catch me there. And as far as BCF, I'll provide the links and everything to BCF, the Illinois Black Republican Coalition. I will make sure that all of my platforms have that information. If you want to register to vote, again, you can email me at Devin, DEVIN, at devinjones.org. Again, Devin at devinjones.org. That's super easy to remember. And I can come out, register you to vote. You can also, register to vote online. If you want to become a deputy registrar to register other people for voters, I'm trying to get a bunch of people to train and do that as well. So I'm really trying to create a Republican machine because people need a choice. So if you want to talk policy, everything that's going on in this state that is conservative, I try to keep my ear to the ground and to connect people. So again, just reach out to me, email me, Devin at devinjones.org. You can even call me, 773-234-1055. You can call, text, I will answer all of that. So I want to make it as easy as possible for people to learn more about conservatism, to evangelize conservatism, and to equally apply the conservative principles and policies.
And for viewers, if you see there's a QR code there, you could actually take your phone and point to that QR code, and we'll take you directly to your webpage. What was the number again, Devin, that they could reach you at?
That number is area code 773-234-1055. 773-234-1055. And also I'm in the process of endorsing candidates because ward committeemen can and should be doing that. And I know you just recently received a big endorsement that you were waiting for. I believe I read something about that.
Yeah, we got the endorsement from the Illinois GOP. People say, well, it's your party. They should be endorsing you. They should be, but, we've had some issues. But I very much appreciate it. Tim Schneider and Charlene Foss and Mark Shaw, of course, signed that endorsement. So endorsements are wonderful. We like it that the party's standing behind us.
Sure.
At the end of the day, there's a lot that we need to get done. And as you laid it out, we need committee men out there. We need to have poll watchers. We need to have volunteers. We need most of all money. And I will say it again because we're in our new office, and actually where I'm broadcasting from. I know that we have a law and order candidate I just saw the flyer. You could put that back up again. That we're going to have on September 11th. We're going to have a gathering where we're going to, again, raise money for every candidate there. I am going to speak at that gathering as part of that law and order slate of candidates. And you see everyone, to include Mark Curran, as you mentioned, who are part of the law and order group in Illinois. And we have a new office. So my campaign manager is off camera, and he's looking at me with a stare because I have a hard time sometimes remembering to ask for money and support. So for you all to help us, we need money for our campaign. You could go to www.votesangari.com, www.votesangari.com, And you could also, same thing, you get a QR code there. You could just go ahead and point to it. It will take you to our donation box. We do need money for all these yard signs that we have to put out there. We're less than 60 days now from the election date. And in October, mid-October, we're going to start early voting. This Sunday, which is September 13th, at our office, we're going to have a gathering, a meet and greet, and I'm going to try to run a town hall if I can on a daily basis here, so it gives the candidates opportunity to come to see me. Again, if you could put that address up, is we're located on Sheridan Road and 7646 North Sheridan, Chicago, Illinois. And I took the fight directly to Chicago, almost a block away from Evanston, which is at the heart of the communities that a lot of people never reached out to who ran in the ninth congressional district. So I am here where people don't like Republicans. I don't know why. We're all Americans, but it is what it is. And also we have the Syrians for Trump, which is a new organization. I'd be remiss if I did not mention them. And my hope is that more Assyrians do go and sign for Assyrian for Trump and at least put their name on the list so they could be contacted through the Trump administration for any help that they need. Devin, it was wonderful having you here. I'll give you the last word before we depart, and I hope that we get a chance to bring you back again prior to the end of the elections or even after the elections.
You know, I'm definitely very grateful for this opportunity. Very grateful for you shining the light on using your platform to shine a light on what I'm doing out here and what we're doing on the South Side. By the way, I love that Assyrians for Trump. One of the things I love about the Trump campaign is that they are actually reaching out to so many different communities and not asking them to be something that they're not. You can be Assyrian, you know, they're okay with you saying Assyrians for Trump, Black Voices for Trump, etc. And that's something that I think hasn't been really appreciated for far too long in the conservative movement. But I would just encourage everybody to make sure that the people around you are registered to vote. Make sure that you have conversations with people about the issues, about policy, not talking points, not hashtags, not slogans, about actual conservative policy that you yourself are knowledgeable about the issues before you speak about a community. Make sure you know what that community has had to deal with before you just put out something that gets people all riled up. So that's my last word is register to vote, become an election judge, volunteer to be a poll watcher, find out who your Republican committee person is. If you live in Cook County, it's either a township or in the city. Your ward has a committee person. So find out who they are, connect with them, donate to them because we are definitely in need of money, but also donate directly to the candidates that you support as well because the money gets to them faster and they can use it for the things that they know their community needs to get that word out. So again, I'm very appreciative. Devin at devinjones.org is my email. devinjones.org is my web address. 18th Ward GOP on Twitter and Facebook.
Devin, thank you very much. And with that said, God bless you. Keep on moving forward. Let me know if the Black Conservative Federation needs anything from me, and we will try to help as much as we can, both now and when I'm in Congress. So with that said, the Black community, you're very powerful. You need to know your power. Don't let anybody tell you you don't have the capability or the power. You got the money, you get the capability. You got people like Devin Jones, okay, and others. They're trying to fix the community's issues. Work with them, help them out. It's okay to help them out rather than the same old people that have been in the system for years. So with that said, God bless. Thank you for coming here, Devin, and hope to see you again. This is New Paradigms.
The founders of this nation did not create a land of opportunity by growing government. They did it by reducing its powers, particularly when the government of the King of England did not provide them with representation. The U in the United States originally was not capitalized, but the S in states was, meaning that the states were like semi-sovereign nations. Governance was more local and solutions were often more interpersonal rather than political. We have moved into an age where politicians act like agents of a larger special interest rather than representatives of the people, and as a result, liberty has been compromised. With your help, Lieutenant Colonel Sangari can fight this corruption and end this Middle Eastern non-democratic mentality of keeping an official in his or her seat for life, or replacing them by their own hand, pick subservient, and finally start focusing on collective American effort on actually representing the needs of all the constituents in the 9th Congressional District, including Democratic and Independent Americans, for our benefit, and not to advance the position of a single political party or person in our America again, advocating for honoring and empowering the American dream for all. Vote Sangari, honoring and empowering the American dream.
I am Sargis Sangari, and I approve this message.